Hey guys, so today we're going to determine how to find the endpoint of a line segment, and in this video I'm gonna go through 3 methods on how to do that, and you can pretty much use any one to find the endpoint of any line segment. All right, so let's go through method 1, using the rise over run or the slope pretty much. What we want to keep in mind is that when we're looking at a line segment and it has a midpoint, the distance from one endpoint to the midpoint, of course, is going to be the same as the distance from the midpoint to the other endpoint. So we can use this rise over run to travel from endpoint to midpoint and then from midpoint to endpoint. So let's do that. So here, to get from A to M, traveling on the coordinate plane, we can go up by 4 units and then to the right 3 units. We're going to repeat that process to find that other endpoint. So go up by 4 units and then to the right by 3 units, and we should find out what point B is, which ends up being 9, 10. And that's pretty much it. So that was method 1. Now method 2 uses translations. It's very similar to method 1, except you're not using a graph. You're just using the distance between the numbers. So again, we're going to start off with one endpoint. We're starting off with A, 3, 2. Now you ask, well, how far does it take to get from 3 to 6? Well, that's plus 3. How far does it take to get from 2 to 6? Well, that's plus 4. And then what you do is you apply those same numbers down here as well. So as we're traveling from the midpoint to the other endpoint, I do plus 3 again. 6 plus 3 is 9. Here, I'm going to do plus 4. 6 plus 4 is 10, which is exactly the endpoint that we got when we used method 1. And then the final method is kind of like reverse engineering the midpoint formula. So we know from our previous lesson that the midpoint formula was this: x2 plus x1 over 2, comma y2 plus y1 over 2. So I'm going to rewrite that on this paper here. So we have the midpoint is x2 plus x1 over 2, comma y2 plus y1 over 2. Now for this method, I'm going to label this section as finding the x mid and this section as finding the y mid. And I'll help with labeling later. So okay, we're trying to find the endpoint, right? So how do we label our coordinate points using what's given in this formula? Well, here A, we can call it x1, y1, and here this midpoint we can call it x mid, y mid. Okay, so with that being said, let's rewrite this formula down here. So this is originally going to be x mid, comma y mid equals, and then this midpoint formula down here. So we're going to rewrite that over here. So x mid, y mid. So we're actually going to set these equal to each other. So x mid equals the result of this, y mid equals the result of this. That'll be easier when it comes to solving it algebraically. So let's start with the x mid. So the x mid, let me just write the formula down. So it's going to be x mid equals x2 plus x1 over 2. This is what we're solving. So we're going to start substituting. X mid is 6 equals, and then we have x2, well, we don't know what that is, but we do have x1, which is 3 over 2. And here we can just cross multiply. So 2 times 6 is 12 equals x2 plus 3 minus 3 on both sides. And that's going to give us 9 equals x2, which is exactly what we got for our endpoint here and our endpoint here. Okay, let's try it again for the y's. So our y mid is y2 plus y1 over 2. And we're just going to replace all of that. We have 6 as our y mid. Y2, we don't know. Y1 is 2 over 2. Cross multiply. We end up with 12 equals y2 plus 2 minus 2 on both sides. We end up with 10 equals y2. And our coordinate point is 9, 10 for point B, which is exactly what we got with the other two methods. So this is pretty much it. You can use any three methods to help you solve for the endpoint. I would say that this might be difficult if you have like irrational numbers, but I think this is all three methods are pretty useful in a very simple context. And that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe. Let me know if you want me to go over any more topics and details, and that's pretty much it. Have a good day. Bye.